Hey gang, as true crime fans, we know there's always more to the story. And the start of a new year is a perfect time to start digging deeper into the mysteries that fascinate you with newspapers.com, the largest online newspaper archive.
Imagine uncovering the original articles that reported on infamous crimes or tracking down small town stories that haven't been told in decades. A subscription to newspapers.com unlocks over 1 billion, with a B, newspaper pages from across the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and beyond, dating all the way back to 1690 or as recent as a month ago.
You'll have access to stories that you will not find anywhere else. From front page headlines to forgotten cases that could inspire your next deep dive. Go down a rabbit hole of first-hand accounts, breaking news, and shocking details that didn't make the history books, all on newspapers.com.
For listeners of this podcast, newspapers.com is offering a special discount of 20%. Just use the code True Crimecast at checkout. The clues to history's mysteries are waiting for you on newspapers.com using code True Crimecast.
Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Yeah, looking for a tragedy this week, something that didn't need to happen and was maybe as simple as getting the wrong address.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John, here as always with Jamie. This is a heartbreaking case right here in our neck of the woods.
Yeah,
Jamie, this is tough.
The last week we did 2 potential miracles. This past one was kind of a silly church-related crime. This one is hard to talk about, hard to think about, and raises a lot of disturbing questions, I think, about what actually happened here.
We have a true crime story for you in 10 minutes or less. Hopefully you can enjoy your quick commute. With that being said, why don't you get the ball rolling?
Yeah, it happened in Laurel County, Kentucky, which is London, Kentucky, about 45 miles south of us. John, you lived in London for a little bit.
I lived in London. If you ever listened to our comedy show called Bless Their Hearts, our frequent guest, Ray, is from there, lived there for a long time.
And this was a tragic case that resulted in a death during a law enforcement related shooting.
So the story we're going to be talking about is the story of Douglas Harless, who was a 63-year-old man who was killed during a police raid, which went horribly wrong. The raid, which occurred just before Christmas, stemmed from an investigation into a stolen weed eater, a case that was seemingly so trivial, but resulted in a death.
The incident happened on December 23rd of 2024 when officers from the London Police Department attempted to execute a search warrant at the home on Van Zant Road. They were looking for 489 Van Zant Road. 489 Van Zant Road.
If Laurel County and London sounds familiar to you all who have been listening to a long time, this past summer, this is the same neck of the woods where there was the I-75 shooter. This person lived, kind of in that area.
In that area, yeah.
So despite the clear instructions, officers raided 511 Van Zant Road instead of 489. Which was the home of Douglas Harless. And according to the Kentucky State Police, Harless produced a firearm and pointed it at officers, prompting them to shoot and kill him. This was not a situation where they knocked and said, "Hey, we'd like to talk to you." This was a raid.
It was. And there's some surveillance video. I have it on our TikTok video I made about a week ago about this, but it's you can't see it. It's pretty grainy, but you can tell that they're there for business, and then you can see the shooting happen. And this explanation's been met with a lot of skepticism. Neighbors, friends, and family members had questioned why in the world police would fail to confirm the address on the warrant and why such a massive response was necessary over a stolen weed eater. John, you can see pictures on his door. It says 511 real big on the frame.
Harless's neighbor, Carl Merritt, described Douglas as a quiet, humble man who kept to himself. Merritt's security camera captured the commotion outside of Harless's home. Again, just such a tragedy that did not need to happen.
And Merritt owns a lot of properties in that area, including 489 Van Zant Road, which was the address on the warrants, but nobody had lived at that address for almost 8 months. So he wasn't even sure why they were going there.
Adding to the confusion, dispatch audio obtained by WKYT revealed officers repeatedly being told the correct address. Yet, after the fatal shooting, one officer reported shots fired at 489 Van Zant Road, even though the address, 511, like you said, was clearly visible on Harless's home.
And I have that audio on the TikTok video as well of them saying shots fired, 489 Van Zant Road. They say it like 3 times, the wrong address. People are drawing parallels back to the 2020 shooting of Breonna Taylor that happened up in Louisville. Became a big deal. Really, that was a national story, and such a tragic loss of life in that situation and in this one.
And in just like Taylor's case, this tragedy raises questions about police procedures. Why didn't officers conduct surveillance to confirm the address before executing a warrant? Why was the London Police Department operating outside its jurisdiction in a rural area typically patrolled by the Laurel County Sheriff's Office? Jamie, I'm not a police officer. I know some very well, and anytime there's a raid, there's an extensive plan drawn up. Here's the home we're going to. Here's all the points where I need people to surround the house. This sounds like that meeting did not happen, and this was botched from the beginning.
Yeah, they don't just say, hey, we're going to execute a warrant. Who wants to go get in the car? There should be...
Well, I feel like maybe they did on this one.
Excellent point. There shouldn't be. There should have been diagrams and plans and people covering different doors and clear communication at the door. And Douglas would have had no reason to pull a weapon. And again, this is all according to officers. There may be body cam footage we have not gotten access to yet. I hope we do, to see more of what really went down and to see how these guys are held accountable, because the loss of life is unacceptable in a situation like this when it could have been so easily avoided. So
Harless's family is understandably devastated. His brother Mark expressed his grief and anger on social media. He wrote the following: "The family is broken. This is terrible. He was a law-abiding man murdered in his own home by the ignorant local London City Police over evidently someone's very important weed eater. My brother is gone."
Kentucky State Police has taken over this investigation into all elements of the case. So as more information is revealed, we will keep you updated. The best place to find that is over on TikTok. That's where we do a lot of our breaking news updates or just commentary about updates. So make sure you go follow us over there and on Instagram in case, TikTok goes away soon. Who knows? We'll see. But this has been a crime story in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Hey gang, as true crime fans, we know there's always more to the story. And the start of a new year is a perfect time to start digging deeper into the mysteries that fascinate you with newspapers.com, the largest online newspaper archive.
Imagine uncovering the original articles that reported on infamous crimes or tracking down small town stories that haven't been told in decades. A subscription to newspapers.com unlocks over 1 billion, with a B, newspaper pages from across the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and beyond, dating all the way back to 1690 or as recent as a month ago.
You'll have access to stories that you will not find anywhere else. From front page headlines to forgotten cases that could inspire your next deep dive. Go down a rabbit hole of first-hand accounts, breaking news, and shocking details that didn't make the history books, all on newspapers.com.
For listeners of this podcast, newspapers.com is offering a special discount of 20%. Just use the code TrueCrimecast at checkout. The clues to history's mysteries are waiting for you on newspapers.com using code TrueCrimecast.